Peace and love, family. I'm Devon.
And I'm Jen.
And we are
Chameleon Love.
So check it out, man. We appreciate y'all tapping in with us today. Man, we got something that's super important to talk about, man. And that is the mental health of Black men. And being a Black man, clearly, as you can see, our mental health has taken a hit dating back hundreds of years ago, right? And sometimes in today's world, we still feel that effect. So we want to talk about like why, to me, therapy is important for us as Black people, but especially as Black men to get into therapy.
Yeah. How you doing? Because you a fine Black man. I'm just saying.
I enjoy being a fine Black man. I wouldn't trade that for the world.
You look good. Boy. You look good.
I feel good because yesterday I had my therapy session, which I've been in therapy for 2 years. This is my second stint in therapy. And I've been in therapy for 2 years, and I have a wonderful therapist. And
talk about that, y'all. First of all, can I just celebrate you for
I'm listening.
For just being open to therapy.
Yeah,
like just being vulnerable enough to have a space for yourself outside of what we have together. Like you didn't have to. I recommended it. This was a recommendation about 2 years ago. And I knew I wanted to go ahead and start getting the boys in therapy. But I thought, like, how good would it be to be able to have all of us in that space? And for them, not just knowing that it's for them, but for their dad. Yeah. And so, I mentioned that to you. You were getting a mental health piece together for your job. And just talk to me about that. Like, how did this even... You love your therapist. We know that. She is dope. She really is. She is. Talk to me about that. Like, what got you here?
But before we get into that, can you brush your hair down? Because it's like distracting me. I keep on looking at it.
Is it better now?
Yeah, somewhat.
My hair is wild in the day, y'all.
Hairing right now.
Yo,
and it was hella distracting. I'm sorry, but that's just us. That's what we do this all the time.
Bad hair day, y'all, and we still out here in these streets.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, it ain't doing what it's supposed to do.
It's not bad. But so
it's better for you though.
Yeah, it's better.
Okay, all right.
So you were asking me.
Yeah.
Talk to you about therapy, like how So I was working on a piece for my job, and I had to create a presentation, basically making awareness to mental health and the offers that our company was offering for their employees, which was some free therapy sessions through a company that we were partnered with. And so I didn't know it at the time. I just had to work on this project. So I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't know we get free therapy sessions. So I'm like, I'm gonna talk to you about it.
Yeah.
And he was like, I think you need to take advantage of it. So I was like, all right, cool. This is like 2 years ago, like a little bit over 2 years ago. And so I was like, all right, cool.
Look at you listening to your wife.
Every once in a while, I gotta listen, to keep everything stable, steady, balanced.
Sometimes.
I gotta listen sometimes. But I was like, okay, I had been to therapy before. This wasn't, anything new to me, but I had to go through the process of finding a therapist.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, all right, let me find a therapist. So, I spent about a week or so just researching different therapists and looking, for therapists that would be within our company's network. So, I can start my sessions. And so I scrolled through, I don't know, about 30, 40, 50 people. And then, this one person stuck out to me. And I knew a couple of things. I knew I didn't care if it was man or woman, but I cared about two things. I cared about if they were a Black person. And that's not to say that, any other race or ethnicity isn't able to therapize people.
Yeah.
But as a Black person, I would like for someone who understands the plight.
Yeah.
Who understands the plight, because
so that was important to you.
It's serious. It's real, and not saying that any other race can't understand necessarily what I'm going through, but they don't have a firsthand knowledge of it.
Yeah.
So to them, it's just kind of guessing. It's like me trying to understand your plight as a woman. I don't know. I could kind of see and guess, but I don't fully know. And so I wanted somebody who fully at least understands how it is to be Black and how it does and can affect our mental health.
Right.
And so that was important to me. So, and also the credentials, like, what does the credentials look like? What do they specialize in? I needed somebody who specialized in what I needed. And so,
and what was that? What was like one or two things that sticks out to you?
So I needed someone who specialized in emotional trauma, because I felt like there was some things from my past, my childhood, that I still thought about heavily.
Right.
And not that it impacted me where I would go off on episodes, but just the constant thinking about it.
Yeah.
That was, and I also needed someone who understood family dynamics, because obviously we're married and we have 3 kids. And so I needed somebody who understand that as well.
Right.
And so I found a perfect person. She's amazing. And I appreciate her. I'm not gonna say her name. I'm not gonna put her out there, but she is an amazing person, and I really appreciate her.
Yeah.
Because she helped me see a lot of things differently that I was looking at from a man's point of view, and she kind of helped me understand you a little bit better too, as a Black woman. So that helped out. She's a mom. She understands, and I'm like, okay, these things make sense. So it kind of helped me handle situation better. And you have ADHD. She's experienced in that area, so that also helped me to really understand some of the things that you go through and do, and why your brain functions the way it functions.
So that was big for you.
Yeah, because it gave me a lot of tools.
Yeah.
A lot of tools that I've used over and over and over and over.
So when you
and over and over.
Yeah. And you need a lot of tools for that.
I'm Bob the Builder, Tim the Two-Man Taylor over here. But
at least you got what you need.
All the tools, the whole toolbox. Yeah. She gave me a whole toolbox. Yeah. And so I'm able to pull out these tools when certain situations arise.
Yeah.
And so
do you feel prepared? Do you feel more prepared for?
I do feel more prepared. I don't have it all. I don't understand it all.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to understand. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to go through that process, and I'm willing to put forth that effort. And so because I am willing to do all these things and listen and use the tools that's put in place for me.
Yeah.
Because that's what therapy did for me. And a lot of, especially our culture, especially Black culture, we look at therapy as, they in our business. I don't want nobody in our business. Ain't nobody gonna know what I did in the dark. Ain't nobody gonna know my family history of this and that. And it's not even about that.
Yeah.
First off, they have a clause that it stays confidential. So this person that you're talking to, yes, they're a complete stranger. However, nobody else is knowing your business. And they're coming from a professional, non-judgmental place. I've never felt judged. She never made me feel judged. And even the old therapist that I had before we moved, I never felt judged. And so what it did was it opened up a safe space for me to be able to practice. It was kind of like practice. Like I was able to practice certain things, like, okay, if I wanted to tell you something, if I wanted to share something with you, or I wanted to tell you something, maybe it's a grievance that I have and I don't know how to say it to you without you feeling offended or getting mad or it turning into an argument. I could practice that with her. Okay, so if I say this, and this, is how do you think she's going to take it? And she would say, well, I wouldn't say it like that because it comes off as condescending. Maybe you should say it like this. It really helped me, from my standpoint, be able to open up to you a little bit more about my childhood, what I'm thinking currently and the past, to be more honest and upfront.
Was that easy for you? Because how easy is it if you're talking about
it takes time.
Yeah,
it takes time to open up. You're not just going to go in on the first or second session and just spill your guts.
Yeah,
that almost never happens. And I was very matter of fact and stern and didn't smile as much initially when it came to, going to therapy and having these sessions. You was
looking like you was on trial for a minute. For what?
Because you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to spill my guts and then to find out oh, this ain't really the therapist for me.
Yeah.
Because it sucks to start over. Because now you got to relive traumas and PTSD or whatever it is that you have. You got to relive that again with another therapist.
The trust. There's a trust factor. You know, we always have, you know, as white people, you know, we trust people, you know, that trust things. So when you start divulging these intimate parts of your life, you have that trust that you start building there, and then the trust is broken.
Yeah.
But for you, that wasn't the case, thankfully.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It wasn't the case. We were able to develop a good foundation. We were able to develop a trust factor that allowed me to, over the period of time, open up. So, you know, and it was little by little. Like, I'm still opening up. It's been 2 years.
Wow.
And I have monthly sessions. And it's still, you know, opening up little by little, piece by piece. And like even yesterday, I shared something new with her that she didn't know about.
Yeah.
But so it's not just I'm spill all my guts in one session and we gonna get through it. Nah, it's a gradual trust building and leading up to this thing turns into this thing, which turns into this thing, and it gets bigger and bigger, and the trust grows.
Yeah, I think that's important for men to understand too. If you've been in that position where you've never been able to be vulnerable with anybody, or you have all the reasons not to say anything to anybody about anything.
Because it's hard.
Yeah, because this is hard. Like, there is someone out there for you that is going to allow you to be that, you know, and be in that safe space. And it's okay for them to come alongside you and to partner with you and to help you through these moments. So, hindsight, 2020, if you look at it before, would you have, now that you know what you know, would you have gotten help years before, or do you think it still would have taken this long?
Therapy can only be effective to a person that is ready to change. And I don't know if I was ready to change back then.
That's good.
That's real. I thought I could do it on my own. And a lot of us think that. We think that we can do it on our own. Well, I mean, I could change myself. I don't need nobody to tell me what's wrong with me. That's the wrong attitude to have, because it's not someone telling you what's wrong with you. It's someone helping you understand maybe why you do what you do, or why you act the way you act, or behave the way you behave, and then give you tools and resources that if you really want to make a change, then you can start shifting some of your thinking and your ways of acting.
What I heard you say in that is validating yourself.
Yeah.
Like self-validation.
Yeah.
And that is something that, like, how often do we actually do that? And especially as Black men, you guys are always in a position to have to validate others, right? And other things in whatever capacities. But how often are you able to say, like, I matter, my voice matters, my feelings matter, my emotions matter, and what I feel matters?
Yeah.
And
it's not all about, I ain't going in there and crying. It's not about, like.
Have you cried in your sessions?
No, I haven't cried in any of my sessions, but I don't cry a lot, and it's not that I'm opposed to it. I haven't. Okay. But there have been some touchy subjects that perhaps could have made me feel a way to cry or whatever. But and it's not that I was forcing it down or anything. It just hasn't happened.
Yeah.
But it's not even about that. If it did, it did. I'm human. You know what I'm saying? I have emotions. I have feelings. It ain't no secret. I cry sometimes. We all cry. I don't care. I don't care who you think you are. So there's going to be some reason, some time that you're going to cry.
And it's okay.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I think the biggest thing that we have to understand is what our parents and grandparents and aunties and uncles that's from that Generation X or baby boomer generation will tell us millennials and Gen Z, hey, no, you don't need that. That's for crazy people. That's for people that.
Or just pray about it.
Nah, what's crazy is knowing that it's some shit that's going on with you.
Yeah.
And you don't do anything to try to figure it out,
crazy shit,
or to try to go get help to get it figured out. It's like, I look at it like this. when people say I don't need nobody to tell me what's wrong, I can if I really wanted to, I could just okay. So I could change my brakes if I wanted to on my car. Do I want to do it by myself? Do I want to take the time that it takes to do it? Do I want to go get the things that I need to change it? Do I want to try to figure it out and YouTube my way through it and then possibly do it incorrectly? And if I do it incorrectly and my brakes don't work and I'm driving down the road and I got my family in the car.
Now everybody is at risk.
Now everybody is at risk and everybody's screwed because I want to just try to do it on my own. I can do it. I don't need nobody to help me. When you look at it from that mentality, and it's like, okay, I don't need nothing. I ain't got nothing to heal from.
I think we all do.
Okay. So you lived a perfect life. Like nothing happened. Nobody died that you know that was close to you. Nobody has died.
Yeah.
Everybody is happy. Nobody argues. Nobody abused you. Nobody picked on you. You got straight A's. Everything in your life just went perfect.
Yeah.
You a black man in society. Nobody has ever been racist to you. Nobody has ever been prejudiced to you. So you ain't never got on the elevator. Somebody hold their purse a little closer. Somebody walked across the street to get by you just because somebody said no to you just because of the color of your skin. You never had any of that. So you're just living in this wonderful, no color, no racism society.
I mean, some people do feel that way.
I don't know any black man that can honestly say that I ain't never experienced none of those things.
So when you think about that,
and that's trauma.
Yeah.
If you think about it, I'm not trying to cut you off. If you think about it, that's trauma. When you see these things, I've experienced every last one of those things that I just talked about. That's trauma. That's mental and emotional trauma. Now, you might compartmentalize it and put it somewhere and you just don't think about it, but it's there. Yeah. It never goes away. It's there. It's not at the forefront. You just don't think about it. But if you compartmentalize something, you store it somewhere in your body, somewhere in your mind. It's there. You just ain't tapped into it. Yeah. And you never know what person or what situation may evict those emotions and they come out, and it could be the absolute wrong time. It could be a time that cost you your life or your freedom or somebody around you, a loved one, a friend or whatever. It could cost them their life or their freedom because you never dealt with the shit that you got going on inside of you that's being compartmentalized and suppressed and pushed down, that you feel like, oh, it ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm straight.
Yeah.
No, nigga, you not straight, and you need to go get help, and you need somebody to check on you, and you need somebody to say, hey, brother, how you doing mentally? How you doing? I check on my boys all the time. My homies, I check on the homies all the time. Yo, mental check. How you doing? My homies check on me. Yo, bro, you good? You straight? Like, that's what we supposed to do as black men, as brothers in a community. But a lot of us won't do that because of what we heard and what we think we know. And we don't know shit because nobody ever taught us this. We got to focus on changing the way that we were taught and work on changing something else, a generation that comes behind us, so we can normalize it. And people be like, you know what? There's nothing wrong. I see all these people, they went, they said it's cool. They feel great.
Yeah.
They feel like they're healing. They feel like they're thriving in their masculinity. They're not insecure. They're not healing from old wounds. They've taken the steps that's needed to do these mental checks and these mental health days and these situations that they take seriously. Because whether we know it or not, our ancestors unfortunately had to go through all of this stuff. We carry some of that. I don't care what anybody say.
Yeah,
we carry some of that shit that our ancestors went through. Even though we never experienced being whipped by a slave master,
it's generations
or,
of trauma.
We never experienced some of the horrors that they had to go through.
Yeah.
But we still feel it somehow in our soul to this day.
And you carry it.
And you carry it around. And you got to find somewhere to put it. Otherwise, you carrying a bunch of unnecessary stuff on your shoulders and in your heart and in your mind. And it comes out in different ways. And again, something that could cost you your life, your loved one's life, or your freedom. And you don't want that. So I took my ass to therapy because I never seen anybody in my family go. Nobody in my family has ever talked about going to therapy prior to me going. None of my friends that I know had went to therapy prior to me going. And I'm not saying
how did that feel for you? Was it weird when you told people that you went? Did you get some flack from people?
I ain't shit about what people think. I really don't care because it's my life. It's my life in my mind.
I know you didn't care, but I'm saying, did you have those responses? Because there's some people out here, men thinking that they could go. But,
well, you got people that'll say, why'd you go?
Yeah.
And I'll tell them why I went. You know, I'll tell them about the first time why I went. Why I went because I had anxiety.
Yeah.
I had anxiety. We went through a situation where we had an unexpected pregnancy. And there was some anxieties there. I ain't had no job. We got a baby on the way. We got a 6-month-old and we got a 4-year-old.
And
I'm stressed the fuck out.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. So I had to put that somewhere. And that helped.
Yeah.
This time around, there were some things that was coming up. I would see something and it would take me back to a place in my childhood. And I was like, why am I doing that? Like, why does me watching this movie and this scene makes me angry or makes me want to hurt somebody?
Triggers. So triggers.
So, and I didn't know what those were. I didn't know what those were until I went to therapy. And she was like, those are triggers. Those are things that are suppressed in your mental that you see something and it brings it up and it triggers you to feel this type of emotion that you either felt back then or you wanted to feel back then. Maybe you were too small to do something. And so now it comes up as an adult. You want to go hurt this person that hurt you or your loved one 15, 20 years ago.
And could potentially still act on it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you don't want that to activate some type of suppressed emotion in you.
Yeah.
That's going to cause you to go out and do something stupid. So yeah. Take your black ass to therapy, man. Get the help that you needed, man. These are things that are put in place for us to be able to thrive in our masculinity and our manhood and our blackness and not feel judged by it.
Yeah.
You know, obviously go when you're ready, but at least think about it. At least research it. Don't be a fool and go by what other people say. That's their experience. That's their life. This is your life. And you're solely responsible for what happens in your life. So I'm gonna get off my high horse, but I think
he been on it, y'all. He been on it, but
super important.
Yeah, this is
and
good.
It's your mind is not anything to play with, man. Because if you aren't healed or you're not in a state of healing, I think we're always in a state of healing.
Yeah.
If you're not in a state of healing and you're just suppressed and just doing whatever, here's the thing that you're gonna run into. You run into a lot of toxicity that you have in yourself that you're unaware of. And you're going to take your toxic ass and you're going to go get in a relationship and then you're going to make that woman toxic or she got to deal with your foolishness because you never went and got it dealt with in the first place. So now you're toxic. You go over here, you make her toxic somehow, or you're just going to end up by yourself.
And then don't have kids because then you have toxic ass kids.
So, you know, it's cool to be alone. It ain't cool to be lonely.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, I'll stop it right there. But I just felt like it was very important to say that. So thank you for your support through my journey because it's been tremendous.
I have learned to hush, as y'all can see. I've been itching just to say something, but this was your time, and I really appreciate you feeling so passionate about it. I think it's courageous to watch you in this journey. It's beautiful to see. And when you're having your sessions, I leave so that I'm not, first of all, invading your privacy, but also just giving you a space of vulnerability. But thank you so much for your courage and how it has made you a better man and a better father and a better husband,
that.
So what would you say, wrapping it up, what would you say to the men? What advice would you give to the men that would like to seek therapy, but may not have the courage to, or may have some stigmas, have heard some stigmas on it? Where do they start? Like what advice?
Man, just do your own research. Google has a plethora of information. Google it, research it. Hey, and also if you don't know what to do and you feel like this is talking to you and it's resonating with you, hit me up, man. Hit me up. You can do a couple of things. You can go on our website at www.chameleonlove.org. That's www.chameleonlove.org. You can fill out a contact request form and hit me up. Let me know what you're feeling, man. If we need a quick chat, we can do that as well. You can DM me on Instagram at Von_Tuff. That's VON_TUFF. You can DM me. We can talk about it. I can tell you my personal experiences, man, and you can decide if that's something that you want to do or not. But I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Also, you can hit us up on TikTok at Chameleon Love 5, and then on YouTube at Chameleon Love Channel.
All right. Can I talk now?
Where can I find you at?
All right, fam. You can find me on IG at Jenny Grind or IG at Chameleon Love Podcast. And you can also find us on Facebook at Devon and Jennifer Heath. Babe, thank you so much for your courage. Thank you for being the man that you are. And can I say that you fine in therapy.
Hey, man. Talk your shit, man.
you real. You looking real good.
Talk
you
look fine
of every session you get. Every session you get. But a healing man is a beautiful thing, and it's a beautiful thing for our family and for our boys to see.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate your love. I appreciate your support. I appreciate y'all love and support. Like I say, hit me up, and I can share my story. I have no problems with that. But until the next time.
Yes.
Take your ass to therapy and keep Chameleon loving.